The rubber band is one of the most modest objects in daily life, yet one of the most adaptable. It has no moving parts, no instructions, and no preferred use. It exists as a loop of material that stretches, resists, and returns to itself. That simplicity hides a powerful design idea. Before rubber bands, bundling and holding were permanent acts. Rope, twine, string, wire, and knots required intent. You had to decide how tightly to bind something and how long it should remain bound. Undoing the action often meant cutting or untying, both of which took time and attention. This made temporary organization inconvenient. The problem was not that people couldn't hold things together. It was that they couldn't do it without commitment. The rubber band emerged as a solution to that gap. Its defining feature is elasticity. Stretch creates tension, and tension creates holding force. But that force is not rigid. It adjusts continuously. As objects shift, the band adapts. As pressure changes, the band compensates. This behavior is the core innovation. Instead of forcing objects into alignment, the rubber band allows them to settle naturally. It does not require precision. It accepts irregularity. This acceptance shapes how people use it. You don't plan a rubber band. You reach for it when you don't want to think too hard. Papers of uneven size, cables that don't coil neatly, objects that will be separated again soon. The rubber band holds without pretending permanence. That distinction matters. Permanent fasteners signal completion. Temporary ones signal pause. The rubber band creates a state between order and freedom. Things are together, but not fixed. Organized, but not finalized. This makes it especially useful in transitional moments: sorting, staging, preparing, transporting. Design constraints reinforce this role. The band must stretch far without breaking. It must return reliably. It must tolerate repeated use. It must be cheap enough to lose. It must be small enough to disappear into a drawer. Each constraint pushes the design toward minimalism. A rubber band has no sharp edges because sharp edges would concentrate stress. It has a continuous loop because ends would weaken it. It has uniform thickness to distribute force evenly. The material itself is doing the work. Rubber's elasticity allows the band to store energy briefly and release it slowly. This creates a gentle but persistent grip. Not enough to crush, not so little that it slips. That balance is delicate. Too stiff, and the band snaps. Too loose, and it fails to hold. The familiar feel of a rubber band represents an optimized compromise between strength and forgiveness. This forgiveness changes behavior. Because rubber bands are easy to remove, people are more willing to use them. Because they don't damage what they hold, people trust them with fragile items. Because they don't imply finality, people use them earlier in a process. The moment of realization often comes when a rubber band breaks. It snaps unexpectedly. Papers scatter. The temporary order dissolves instantly. You're reminded that the band was not enforcing structure. It was borrowing it from tension. And that reveals the deeper truth. The rubber band is not a fastener. It is a temporary agreement, an agreement between objects to stay close for now, an agreement that can end at any moment without tools or ceremony. This is invisible design at work. The rubber band doesn't tell you what to do. It gives you time to decide. It allows indecision to be productive. In a world full of locks, snaps, clips, and ties, the rubber band succeeds by refusing to be definitive. It holds without insisting. That is why it persists. Not because it is strong, but because it is tolerant. Not because it organizes perfectly, but because it organizes well enough while leaving room for change. The most effective designs often live in this middle space, between chaos and control. The rubber band lives there quietly, looping back to itself, waiting to be stretched again.